Hey, welcome back to Say You Look Tired. I'm Martin.
Hey, I'm Dan.
Nice. We're back. We've got another episode here. We're back to doing it twice a week now as well. Hopefully you're all enjoying them. And yeah, another week, another Monday, Dan. We're recording on a Wednesday, but you'll all be listening on a Monday. And yeah, how's your week been going?
I've been ruined by Wednesday. If this is a video and you're seeing it, I do not look as fresh as I used to do. I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm so tired. And I'm being honest with everybody. I'm going to sleep. I'm eating well. I do a bit of work in the evening, but it's not taxing work. I get taxed on it, but it's not taxing. And I sleep about 8 hours a night now, routinely every night. Drinking the water, don't have coffee after lunch, and I'm absolutely shattered because it's hard. Teaching is hard. I was teaching today. I teach 3 to 4 days a week, and the class I had today really, really tried my patience. My ears are done. I have got no energy left, but we're still here. But I'm happy. I'm still happy. That's the main thing. Still got my happiness. But I felt for them, bless them. They had phonics twice. So they did. Phonics twice, a lot of, direct teaching they had to go through. And I was just going through the motions, but giving it my big, energy to try and get them on board. But listening skills these days in schools, I've seen it in so many, are just shocking. It's so difficult. And they don't know when to be quiet. They do not know how to stop.
Do you know what? Do you know what's funny with that? I saw an article where it was a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And it was saying about that. And it was actually talking about children's screen times and actually saying that so many more children now are coming to school non-verbal because basically they've just had an iPad stuck in front of them and they haven't needed to have that conversation. They haven't needed to interact or like they just sit in silence playing on an iPad. And it has meant that they go to school and just don't have that basic conversation. And it's probably part of that, isn't it? Like, I see it all the time online now. Like, I haven't been in the classroom for 6 years, but I see it all online about people talking about how difficult it is. The people I work with, they talk to me about how it's getting more and more difficult. And I do think it's probably quite a lot to do with technology as well, isn't it? Like technology is advancing. We're not really changing it, watching it. Even like social media. Like social media is designed to keep you on your phone, to keep you on that app. They make their money. Like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, they're all free. They're all free. They make their money, don't they, by the ads. So they want to keep you on. And yet, kind of just glance over and let the kids just on it, don't we?
Yeah. But even as adults, like, I don't know about your screen time is like, some of my work is on my phone. So I always have to take that into consideration. But at the weekend, I said to myself on Saturday, I wanted to watch a movie. And I purposely put my phone in my bedroom. I took my watch off. I was like, I want no distractions. And during the movie, Martin, I was like, oh, I wonder if so-and-so's replied to me about such and such. And I mean, why am I this pathetic? Unless I'm in the cinema, which is different. If I'm at home, because, the cinema has rules. I'm like, oh, and I've sat so many times on my phone during a movie and have not paid attention. Or I've had to watch the same episode of a TV show 3 times to actually see what exactly happened in it. And it is ridiculous. And like another thing that's happening in schools, because of technology and using things like iPads and so on, children do not have like the motor skills that they need to write. They do not have it. It takes less of your finger strength and stuff to like touch and swipe a screen. Whereas back in the day when we were younger, we were outside, we were on our bikes, we had drawing, we had coloring in, we had all of that stuff. And not everybody does it all the time because it's easier to just give a child an iPad and say, there you go. But yeah. And it was funny, because I went into places recently where the classes have been hard. And coming on to what we're talking about today, they've said, oh, we were looking forward to you coming back. They need a meal in there to tell them off. And I'm like, I used to always, it reminded me that I used to always have the children sent to me when, like, over the years, we will send you to Mr. Mac. He'll tell
Yeah.
you. And I was like, I don't want to be seen as mean, Mac. I don't, that's not fair.
It is weird. It is a weird one with like males in schools, isn't it? Especially in primary. Not so much in secondary because I think it's seen more as like that balance, isn't it? But in primary,
Mm,
you probably average what, one, maybe two male teachers in a school, if that. And it is like that. You always get put in certain roles, don't you? Like,
mhm.
oh, you'll be the one who's good with technology. Like, oh, we'll get you to solve that. I was the
Yeah.
computing lead in our school. I never clue about computing. Like, but people would come to me sometimes with the technical problems with the computer.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't know. Be like that Iqbal being like, have you tried switching it off and back on again?
I hate whenever I get asked about technology questions. Even now, like someone the other day asked me how to print stuff out, and I was like, I really don't. I do probably could figure it out, and I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure. But it was the behavior thing about how, oh, send them to him. And I was, because I was an SLT as well. In my first school,
Yeah.
I was the only male teacher apart from the and you know, we say computing, the man who ran the computer suite, we had a computer suite, the man who ran it. So we were the only two males in school for a little while. But my last school, I worked in full time for 4 years. There was one, two, three. There was four of us, just off the top of my head, four male teachers, and that was the most that I'd ever worked alongside in school. And actually, three of us were in SLT.
It's funny that as well, isn't it? And that comes from, have you seen like basically all, obviously it's been going on for ages, but like, you know, the maternity pay for teachers and how
Oh yeah.
most like women in the 80s are leaving teaching. And it all comes down to like, when we first started teaching, I used to think it was funny how there was hardly any male teachers.
Mm,
But yeah, over probably half heads and deputies
hmm.
are male. But it is
Yep.
like, it's quite funny how the system that's like set up for men to win, innit? Like it is, and I know probably there'll be a lot of women listening to this being like every system, like seems to me, but I think in such a female dominated like thing as primary school teaching,
Hmm.
it is so weird how like the maternity pay is shockingly bad.
Yeah.
Like the maternity pay is shockingly bad. They also kind of like fall down the ladder. I often think about it like in the school I was in, like there was four of us, four or five of us who'd all joined at similar times. They'd all joined like a year or two before me. And in our school, kind of after the head and deputy seniority kind of went on like who'd been there the longest because it was one form entry. So I was quite low on the seniority just because I was the second to last one in. But I do often think like it is mad the idea that like if I was still there now, I know they've all had kids. I'm not saying like I jumped the ladder on them because I'm so much better than them, but I jumped the ladder because I know a few of them have got, yeah, I think most of them have gone part time, you
Hmm.
know, the kind of cutting back, stuff like that, where I would have just still been in a 5 day thing. I would have ended up in SLT
Yeah.
by default. Do you know, like, kind of like blinked and being like, oh, like, I guess I'm here because I'm the most experienced one. Like, and it is weird that, isn't it? How like men are almost fast tracked in education
Yeah.
without even like trying.
I don't know how
And it's so
anyone
strange, isn't it?
I don't know how anyone does the job alongside a family. I really, really do not know. Like, for example, today I'm exhausted. If I had to come home to my own child, I do not know how I would have any of the energy. And like your child deserves to have you in their life with energy. And I know there'll be people who are
Yeah.
listening to us who will be going home, spend time with their child. Like one of my best friends does, and then has to get the laptop open. And like one of my good friends is a head teacher, and I
Oh,
remember her saying to me about putting the child to bed and getting the laptop on at 9 o'clock to sit. I was like, the thought, but the mental thought of switching that on and knowing that you've got 3 or 4 hours work ahead of you is crippling. And then you've got things like keeping the I live by myself, keeping this place tidy, and I only do 4 days a week now, or 3 or 4 days a week teaching. I get home from school some days, and I'm telling you now, I need a padded room. I need to go in, sit in a padded room, and rock back and forth, and go, what exactly happened today? And like, we were saying there about how, oh, you're the one that does the ICT, the one that does this. I want to, and I've always been, I will rebel against male stereotypes. There's a lot about that in there. Yeah, I might come across as, well, I'm not going to say tough. I can be good with behavior. I am good, but the way I tackle behavior is not how it would have been seen back in the day, an authoritarian. I was scared of some of my male teachers at school. They were horrible. And I would never want anyone to think that was me. So I go about
Yeah.
it a different way. I will not. I remember someone saying one time, "Oh, Dan will run that club, the forest school, whatever. Oh, he'll do that." I'm like, why am I going to do it? Just because I'm a male? I will rebel against all those stereotypes, and I will tackle it in my own way. And they could take it, rip it up, and stick it in the bin. No.
Do you know what? It's just funny how schools fall into those little ruts though, isn't it? Like, all schools end up in them, don't they? And I think it is right to challenge them and say it, but I think especially when it comes to, like, having a family, especially now, like, got the little lad, like,
Mhm.
I could not imagine, like, I had decent boundaries anyway. The boundaries would have to be ridiculous because I think teachers now who've got children, especially young children, must be in that catch-22. They must be of like, when you go home, you wanna give everything to your child,
Mhm.
but at the same time, I'd probably wanna get all the work done before I went home so that I could give them their all. But
Mhm.
then you also wanna get home as fast as possible.
Mhm.
I reckon it's just so funny, isn't it, how a profession which is dedicated to looking after children just means that you've gotta, like, neglect
Mhm.
your own, doesn't it?
Yeah. But like, how you said you want to stay at
So
work to do
weird
the
that
work?
way.
How you said you want to stay at work to do the work and then get home, but who's got your child
Yeah.
whenever you're at work? Especially if your partner's working as well, then you have to pay for what? After school clubs or childcare, and then there's the racing to get there. God forbid that you have to be called out of teaching during the day to go collect your child. I know it happens in all jobs anyway, but
Oh,
that's just another thing.
it's so funny how it's the least flexible job in that way. Like, you got in all other jobs, it's just like, "Oh, my child's sick, I've gotta go." In
Hmm.
teaching, it's like, "Well, is there no one else that can go and get them?" Like, you've got responsibilities here, you know?
Some
It's
random.
it's that one, isn't it? And I think the whole school system is just set up so wrong, isn't it? Like, even to the point of, like, when it comes to like, when it comes to gender stereotype, for some reason, they're still in schools. When it
Hmm.
comes to childcare, when it comes to the fact that, like, it is so much easier for a man to be a head teacher, not because of roadblocks that are put in the way for women. Sorry, rather, not because it's easier for them to get there, but because of the roadblocks that are put away for women.
Mm.
And it's so mad, isn't it? And I always think, do you do you get a lot of comments when you go into schools now on supply, like that you're a reception teacher? Because that's one I always used to find, like, it'd be the thing, if you were a primary school teacher, man, you always got pushed to, like, the top.
Hmm. No, no, I don't get that. No, not really. I think because I've taught year one and year two as well. So, and obviously reception early years. But whenever I went in, so I taught early years in my first school, taught year one in my second school, and then went back to early years again to be UFS lead. When I went back, I had a bit of pushback from other members of staff saying, "Oh, you've taught year one, you don't have a clue about early years," but they didn't know me. They didn't know me at all, and thought I was very strict with the children. I wasn't. Please, I just have there's a difference between having high expectations and being overly stern and strict. So I did them a little presentation. I was like, "This is me, and this is what my experience is," because I just felt it was very, very, disrespectful. But I was thinking there when you were talking about stereotypes and things. Whenever I was at primary school, yeah, I had whenever I was a child, I had teachers that I absolutely was petrified of. And they were the stereotypes, as in like very stern, shout it in the classroom. That was seen as being a male figure. And then I had one male teacher who was absolutely amazing, and he was and the qualities about him that made him a good teacher was that he was, friendly. He let you know whenever you were not behaving, but he did it in a way that wasn't humiliating. I've seen male teachers screaming at children, like absolutely shouting at them, and they go, it can be humiliating. And I was like, I don't ever want to be. You can have authority, and you can and have that presence about you without humiliating anybody. Like I would say to staff, would you want your name in the staff room put on a sad cloud or something for something you had done because you've not handed in your data on time? No, you wouldn't.
Oh, it's so weird. But again, it's just how everything in schools just, but like when you take a look at schools, everything's just mad with it, isn't it? Like there's so many problems that way. And like it'll
Hmm.
probably be a fun for another episode, could be our next one. But I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, I mean, male teachers are definitely expected, as you said, to be the disciplinarians, to
Hmm.
be the techno gurus, to be everything. And it is about not leaning into those stereotypes, isn't it?
Hmm. Yeah. Did you run any PE clubs?
Yeah. I did football, I did rugby. Yeah. I was football, rugby, computing lead, maths lead, science lead, all the,
Tick, tick, tick.
quote marks, boy stuff.
Uh-huh. I hate
I think
running
that,
clubs. I loathe every minute of it. And I only ever, ever, ever had to do a club once. In my entire 15 years of being a teacher, I've only ever had to run a club once. And that was in my second school. And we were all forced to do it. And my club was movie club. And basically, we give the children iPads and they had to like make up a movie and film it, whatever. And yeah, it was fun. But I hated it. And that was the only club I ever did. But I did forest schools. So I had forest schools, phonics, literacy, maths, ICT, never PE, because I just couldn't. At that point in life, no way I would have done PE. But yeah, almost similar type things, like, the heavy subjects.
it's funny with it, isn't it? And even like I used to love running the clubs. I used to love it. I think it'd be different now. I don't know whether I'd do as many clubs now with having a little
Hmm.
lad. Like I think I'd be like, nah, you're not getting any 3 hours out. Mate, I'm going home. But I think there is the place for them. I do think it's wrong that like schools kind of force teachers to, it's expected that you run a
Hmm.
club. I would love to see in those schools whether that's actually on your dictated hours. Do you
Yeah.
know your directed time
Hmm.
that you're meant to do
Hmm.
from the school? Do they put that hour on?
Yeah. Because even in
Or is it
UPS,
like, oh no, it's expected?
when you're in UPS, you do not have to run a club. You do not have to do it. It's not part of, when they do wider
Yeah.
school thingy. It doesn't have to be a club. And so I've got a little poster I've made that I'm going to put on my Mr. Mac page soon because I've seen so many people asking about clubs. And I mean, you do not have to do one unless it's been made part of your 1265. No.
It's so it's so strange everything, isn't it? Even with like UPS, I always find it funny, like the thing about not having a lunch break. Like you're entitled to a lunch break, but you don't but you're also not. And it's kind of I know schools where it's almost used as a threat. Do you know, like to like the SLT, to the assistant head, to the deputies, like, don't forget, like you're not like the main scale teachers, you're not entitled to a lunch break. If something happens, you'll have to come and help. Otherwise, we could always put you in the lunch hall during lunch because you don't have one. And I know when I work with them, I'm like, yeah, all right, you might not be able to have your full hour protected like a
Hmm.
normal teacher has, but you are still entitled during your day to have time to eat lunch. Like it's
Yes.
madness with it all.
At my
I
school,
think it's just
whenever
all
I was
those.
UPS, we were timetabled, so the SLT shared out lunch duties, and I only had to do it on a Friday afternoon, and all you had to do was have the radio with you, and if you got radioed to go out to the playground to sort something, and I was notorious if I was radioed to go during my lunch break, I would say that. I'd say, "Look at you messing around. This is my lunch break." I'd be like, "My chicken is going cold because you
Yeah.
can't behave yourself. This is not fair." I would always let them know this is my lunch break.
No, it's that way, and I think it's when it stuff like that. I think a school needs to be set up right sometimes. Like the school I used to work at on supply, and they had a really good system actually. So every break time, all the TAs had to be out on break time duty, but they would get so break was 20 minutes, and when it was finished, they would get 20 minutes.
Oh,
So
wow.
you started your lesson you taught, didn't have your TA in because they would have a 20-minute break. And it
Mhm.
was like, do you know what? That's such a good way to do it because you're making sure that the teachers aren't stretched. Do you know, like when you have to do your break duties and everything like that, it's a killer.
Mm,
But the teachers aren't stretched. But at the same time, you're also showing those TAs like, we appreciate you and here is your break.
yeah.
And it was the same with lunch, those TAs, they would have half an hour. The lunch was an hour, but they would have to do the second half, like when more kids are out on the playground. So they would go for their lunch like 15 minutes early. So they'd still get a 45-minute lunch before they had to go out. And to me, it was
Oh.
like, do you know what? Creates a good atmosphere because it's just about that little bit of respect, isn't it? It's saying, do you know what? Like, we know you got to do the breaks. Technically, the breaks are for the kids, they're not for you. You're not entitled to it. And we could just say, go and do it. But do you know what? You're going to have your break afterwards.
Mm,
And to
that's
me, I
good.
think that was such like good way round. I mean, and
Mhm.
I think that's a lot with all schools, isn't it? It's about thinking, isn't it? Like if people actually took that step back and were like, what's a nice way to do this? What's a fair way to do this? That can be the big difference, can't it?
'Cause then it would mean people wouldn't mind doing things, or if an extra thing needs to be covered, or, they need help at the summer fair. People don't mind doing it because you've been given back with other things during the school year. Whereas if it's just always do, take, then when it comes to wanting to do things, be like, absolutely not. Why should I do that? You know, uh, people say, oh, well, be for your appraisal. And I remember like when I was really burnt out and not enjoying it at all, I would be like, turn up at the Christmas fair and like, oh, this is so not me anymore. But I'd be like, I'm only here for my appraisal. So I say, I'm only putting this on here for my appraisal. I'm only here to put it on my appraisal. Like, isn't that not, that's not nice. And like, that's just because I was that burnt out and everything was so accountable. I was like, well, and I was like, I'm only here for my appraisal. And I remember I was ill. I was so ill. And I still went to help at the Christmas fair because, you had to go. And I had like a sore throat. My eyes were burning out in my head. And I was standing beside this Santa's grotto going, in you go, in you go, everybody. Because I felt like if I didn't go, I'd be trailed in to ask, why were you not there?
I think it's so interesting. Like the last school I was at, I was there for like close to a decade. And it makes me laugh looking back at it because there's just certain things that you just forget about. And then afterwards, you're like, like, oh yeah. Like we didn't in all the time I was there, we never had one school fair.
None.
Just didn't have them. None. And it was like apparently it was because 3 or 4 heads back before I even got there, like had come in and just said, we're not having a fair this year. Let's be honest. Like it's a pain in the ass for us to do. It's a pain in the ass for the parents to come to. No one wants it. And kind of all the teachers just kind of went, Yeah. He was like, "We'll do the fundraising a different way." And
Mhm.
because they did that first year, they were really worried about it. And
Mhm.
then no one moaned. Do you know? So we had that. Um, when I first started there, we had once a term, the parents would come into one of your lessons and you'd teach the lesson. And we just scrapped that one year as well. Cause they were just like, "Do you know what? We're getting parents to come out, take like half a day out of school work.
Mhm.
They're coming in to do this forced lesson, taking time off them. No one really enjoys it. Scrap it." And like we honestly like did all things, but I think again it was all focused around like getting the parents on side in the
Mm.
sense of like not in the sense of like going over above, which some schools do. It was getting the parents on side with little things. Like we never finished at the end of a term on a half day, and we
Oh,
never
really?
did it because again, yeah,
Mhm.
like we'd always finish it free on, like when you get to the end of term and you have like an early dart,
Mhm.
the head would apparently like years and years before I got there, head teacher was just like, my kids are in a different school. And when they finish at one, it's a pain in the ass for me to like logistically find them where we've got a 3 p.m. routine set up.
Yeah.
He was like, so we're not here. Like we can last 2 extra hours. And it used to be annoying on the day. You'd be like, oh, all the schools are finishing half day.
Yeah.
But you can kind of see it from that point. Like, just used to be like, what are the biggest pains in the asses? Let's get rid of them. Let's not have a fair. All our school discos were during the school day.
Yeah. That's what ours were like in the
Like
end.
the only one, but it's sometimes it's just setting the school up right, isn't it? Like it sounds a bit miserable to be like school fairs a pain in the ass. Do you know, school fairs a pain in the ass. Nighttime discos are a pain in the ass. All it,
They
but
are a pain
it
in the
is.
arse,
No one wants
though.
it. Like that's it. And with it, with a lot of it, you can just like hype the kids up as much to do it during the day.
Mhm. Mhm. At least you'll get the whole class there because 'cause they're at school.
That's it. No one misses out. Everyone's doing the same. Everything's set up. Rather than it just being just chaos at night and you've probably got to like debrief the next day of like everything that went down and what you've got to sort.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's a
Absolutely,
big one.
and, at least
But
go for it.
go on, then.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was gonna refer it back
Yeah,
to
go
what
for
we
it.
were saying about male role models and stuff in school. We're in here sorting this out. We're setting our stall for what schools should be like, a good organized school. But if you're gonna say, if you're gonna pick qualities of what you think positive real male role models in schools should be, what would you say would be the
Do
one thing?
you know what? To me, I think it's just, I'm tell you, was turning up at your best. So,
Hmm.
like, turn up as the best version of yourself.
Hmm.
So, it doesn't mean trying the hardest. It doesn't mean being the last one in. It doesn't mean being screaming and yelling. I think it just, if you are there and you're showing that you want to be there,
Hmm.
that's the biggest one. And I think I see a lot online about, some kids don't have a positive male role model and this is that. And actually, like the Louis Theroux documentary, I don't know, have you watched it yet?
No, I'm not really a documentary person.
Oh, you have to watch it. It's all about basically like this new thinking. I can't remember what the word they used was, but it's basically like, do you know all like Andrew Tate and all them, like that
Mm.
real misogynist, like women should serve, men should rule
Oh,
type
yeah.
stuff. And he goes and does the doc. It's some of the stuff is insane on it. Like just like the way they talk, the way they act. Um, But because of that, you see a lot online about, male role models are really important. Male role models are should be there. And I think like a male role model should just be same as a female role model
Hmm.
in the sense of like there are two things that you really need to be. A really positive influence. So you don't want people being scared of you. You want to be
Hmm.
supportive and positive. And the other side, you show that you actually want to be there.
Yeah.
The best teachers, if you always think about the best teachers you had, it it wasn't so much the lessons they did. If I think about it, pretty much all the lessons were always the same. Do you know,
Mm.
like in that side, there might have been some bit more than others, but the biggest one was whether the teacher actually wanted to be in the room. And you could
Yeah.
always tell, couldn't you?
Oh,
And
100%.
it's the
Yeah.
same, like when you're being that positive, it's just showing, it's just turning up. I mean, that's the
Hmm.
big one for me. Like anyone that's been there, and same with the women in schools can do the same. Like turn up, give your all while you're there, show them that you've got respect for yourself by putting boundaries in place and not letting school walk over you. And like you will show those children like the people that they can become by you being the person that you want to be.
Yeah, I agree with you. Mine was going to be the same one about just being the best version of yourself. Because we're all different people, and I hate whenever teachers are forced to be a certain way or a certain thing. Whereas we're all different people. I'm in the era of schools being overrun with schemes and schemes and schemes. All you've got then is your personality and who you are and what you can bring to the job. And like you say, a male role model could be the same as what a female role model is going to be. And for me, I just want I would like to think that as a male primary school teacher, I can show that I can be emotive. I can show that I can be expressive. I show that I do care and that you
Yeah.
want to be there. Like you say, those teachers that you've come in contact with over the years who do not want to be there. It's written all over their face from the minute they walk in. And there's a quote from a lady called Rita Pearson that was like, children don't learn from people they don't like. And I would hate to think that people would ever be scared to come into
Yeah.
school because, I've told them off. So if I have to be like have a bit of authority, I will never do it in a way that's seen as like that toxic masculinity side. I would absolutely, you don't bring that to primary school. No, absolutely not. Be relatable, look at what's causing the behavior and try and show that you care. And, if you do have to, like all teachers do, we do boil over at some point, have a way of like repairing that bond and connection with your class.
Oh, 100%. But no, I think that's probably a good place for us to wrap it up. I think you've really hit it home there with people. I think that's the big one, is it? Just turning up as your best self and just be the best. But no, thanks for listening, everyone. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode. We'll have another one out on Friday. We're getting back into having them on a roll, which is nice. And yeah, make sure you're hitting 5 stars, you're leaving a review if you've liked it, and we will catch you next time. Bye now, everyone.
Bye.